And this is an odd video, but here's the thing. I hate smarmy. I know. It's one of those things. And we get it from left-wing politics, mainstream media, and more important, from the Hollywood elites who are recycling pop culture and entertainment through their money machine and churning out dog crap and then lecturing us with istphobe and Yahtzee labels when we don't like it. Well, now a report, which, by the way, we're going to get to the source because he quotes CNBC and Today Show with this Kidult coverage. And Matt Walsh opens his show by railing on toy collectors, fans of nostalgia, and all of that. And it was so off-putting. I went to like blood pressure through the roof because I'm like, you're so out of touch with what is actually happening and driving this information, and you're listening to the worst possible sources and then throwing this out there for your masses in such a nasty, smarmy way. It is so incredibly off-putting. I messaged someone about doing the video with me, and all they basically just said was, F Matt Walsh. Like like they just got the same reaction, and we didn't follow up on that. So, all right, well, let's do a little video, and then I'll get here. This is how it. This is the first little segment that I want to touch on here.
For his kid, CBS Sports this morning and Kidults. These well into 30.
Love the maturity of his writing. Like he's just reveling in the fact that he can make big wheel and juice box jokes as the setup for this story. Like it is so beneath him and beyond his comprehension what true toy collectors are. Just put a pin in this description before he gets to what the story actually says. Like when he wrote his monologue, that this was part of what he wanted to put in there to try to set the stage. That's all. So, so I think I want to jump just a little past this because he basically shows, he cuts to the article, which talks about that there's $9 billion of toys, right? And there was consumer issues during the pandemic, of course, but the numbers are surging. But his conclusions is where the bigger issues. He's going through all of this first. And then he comes back around. Let's see here. I want to make sure I get to it. First off, by the way, you're quoting CNBC, bro. Like, seriously? I mean, I know that factually they were accurate in the sense of they said this is the actual figure and they didn't lie. And then you followed it up with a Today Show clip that is showing like the most juvenile of presentation point where they cut to this guy because he looks like he would know. He starts going into the examples and justifications of what's actually happening, talking about adult Happy Meals, because I know that's driving the $9 billion of toy sales is adult Happy Meals. And then the fact that there's going to be a Barbie movie. Literally, this is literally part of what he's getting. Here's the toys, and then there's like the Barbie movie, and the data saves us money, and blah blah blah. This is how it all. And then the Today Show people went out and found they found this guy. Got to get to the right dot here. They found this guy who collects putty somehow. And I thought when they said this in the clip, it was going to be silly putty, some sort of weird variation of silly putty. I've been covering pop culture. I've been going to conventions for a couple of decades, been doing this type of work in the pop culture arena. I've never met a putty collector. I've never met someone. They found the Today Show went out and found the craziest adult example of someone. And I will 100% assure you, Matt Walsh and anyone else, that the putty industry is not why $9 billion are being reported. Okay. 100%. Just so you know. Okay. I mean, I could not believe it. Okay. Well, then we get to the fun part because this is where it just got crazy.
one for themselves.
Look at him sitting. He's sitting back with his with his head tilted and the whole thing. It's just, I say smarmy because it was so unnervingly sneering. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what on earth? You're buying a CNBC story where they try to tell you that the putty guy is the reason that $9 billion is out there. You really are believing that? Please tell me that you didn't just shill this segment, Matt Walsh. You're better than that. You know, we like your documentary and stuff that you've done. Like, this was so pathetic and irresponsible in so many levels. And this is what he comes back to. So let me pull the screen back up again. I'm like, what the heck, man? So here's Smart, and he's going to pick up where he left off with the story after showing the clips and go into a little bit here.
God help us all. I mean, it's got adult video.
Isn't it great that his compare and contrast example is take a backhanded swipe at the gaming industry too? By the way, this is only like a few weeks, I believe, after him basically talking about how all anime is satanic. Like, it's such a crazy, weird, hyperbolic bubble that he tries to navigate out of. Like, if you're going to stay political and whatever, that's fine, but you're extrapolating social issues way beyond your scope to even discern what's actually factual and what's not, right? Because the report didn't show you information or examples or anything that dealt with where the money's actually coming from, right? You didn't see an ad for Hot Toys and Sideshow collectibles, or, you know, these rare, you know, $20 a piece NECA, you know, beautifully carved action figures that are more like models to display. No. That's not what he went with. He went with this kind of stuff.
Is mature and refined. Who sits around.
I just can't do it. It's so insanely bad. I want to jump ahead because he does get into more judgment, because he just rambles through a couple of different arenas of judgment before he comes around to this.
I wouldn't sit down and play Batman.
Okay, because that's not what we're talking about, Matt. See, that's the problem, is you don't know what you're talking about. $9 billion. Okay, look, I understand there's a lot of money in action figures and toys and stuff like that. No one is disagreeing that that's a large market. But I think what we're trying to say in the Kidults game that the media is playing is they're trying to stigmatize everyone else who does any type of this stuff on an adult level, right? Those action figures are not the ones that we sit on the floor with and play. And we don't sit there and play with them by ourselves like that, right? We're talking about, they're categorizing toys that are now designed and marketed as collectibles, as an industry, whether that be part of your enjoyment / investment / expression. You know, you see this in the background, just like you do in your display case where you have your little award and your book propped up. We put stuff behind us that kind of show an expression, a statue. I have a statue of Doctor Strange. I have a statue, you know, of different things, right? And that's the part of the money that actually is driving that number, because some of these things are extremely rare. They're interesting. They're beautiful. They attract a lot of people all over the globe. Plus, the internet makes it easier for us to get to these things. Oh, no. It keeps getting worse.
I'm a grown man. And there was a time when would be
much have the same take for the Lego people. Like, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. Like, if you were to sit and do one of those Death Star Legos, you know, like thousands and thousands of pieces with building the giant Lego Death Star, it's all the same to Matt Walsh. He doesn't understand that there are levels of expertise and levels of the marketing, and that's what's really at play here. And there are different types of toys and different type of merchandise and things like that. I don't know that toy is even the right word and adjective. But again, a Barbie movie was part of the example that stoked your fire to do this segment, Matt Walsh. Really? A Barbie commercial? You think that the fans that are buying collectibles are interested in the Barbie movie? Are you anyway, so he did a follow-up on like the next day or two. I forget which day it was, and it was kind of like making it seem as though the person that wrote in and said, I have a real job and kids and whatever, the toys are my way to explain. He's like, yeah, I don't mean you. Okay, well, that is most of us. Most of us that do this, it's our disposable income. It's the extra money, right? We introduce our kids by us expressing, let's say, our love of Star Wars or Marvel. Okay. Then our kids want to have their stuff, right? We get them action figures, we get them different things, and we share our love with it through them. But we don't do that only through buying toys for them and playing just with them. We also have a way of expressing it ourselves. We see this in sports. We see this with other things. Everyone has different types of interests and things like that. And to mock and sneer down at people that you don't understand makes you just as bad as the crazy leftists that you mock on your show, the crazy journalists that mock us on their Today Show and as CNBC segments, and just as bad, if not worse, because you should know better that those people are not trusted, than the Hollywood elites, the Kathleen Kennedys and Kevin Feige's and Bob Igers and all the rest that are all in cahoots to destroy every franchise, to completely milk it for every dollar they possibly can. So stop pretending that we're not out here approaching things differently, that we don't share some of your outrage, and that we don't need to be belittled by someone like you. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. It's so freaking insane. I could not believe this. So anyway, maybe you agree with Matt. Comment below. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm completely nuts and I'm oversensitive in this area. That is fine. I just found this to be completely the same nauseating take from people who are right wing. They've got their buttoned up way. These are the serious things that we should focus on. Everything else shouldn't count. You're too much of a child if you still like these things. It's like, you know what? You don't get to dictate everything. That's not right. This is, yeah, I don't know, whatever. I said my piece.
Yeah. Right? And I'm not playing no